Stubbs here with Retro Handhelds, and today we have the Retroid Pocket 5 in-house. This is one that's been very highly anticipated, hot off the heels of the RP Mini. And in today's video, we are going to unbox, take a look at the thing, try out some games, and get my quick thoughts and impressions out. This will not be a review, but do stay tuned on our channel for that, and stay tuned for the full live stream from the Retro Tech Dad and I, where we're going to be going through all of your questions, testing, and go in depth with various device tests. But before we got started today, I wanted to get something off my chest. Some people out there have the running notion that us reviewers are paid shills of these brands. And there's a distinction, and I do want to let you know up front that this is a fair and honest review. No money has exchanged hands in any way. All thoughts and opinions are my own and always are. So we're gonna let you know every little thing that we find, because these videos would not be very helpful for you, for the brand, or for anybody if they were just glossed over. You gotta show a microscope on the problems so they can be fixed. Because this is pre-production, they can be fixed for the retail version. All right, let's hop in. What do we got going on here? Retroid Pocket 5. So we've been through 5 generations of this now. I know I've been doing this for 5 years, and so this is kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of cool. We started, I don't know if you know this, but we started our Discord community as Retroid Handhelds back in 2020. Eventually, we did want to talk about other handhelds and support other things. And so we ended up rebranding as Retro Handhelds and talking about all this stuff. But it was a fun fan community at the time. Retroid has not always done things that I adored, including the RP2, which we really built all of this from originally. This was the genesis of the hobby for me. I mean, this was what got me into reviewing handhelds, talking about handhelds more. You know, I was never really a handheld guy actually growing up. I've never mentioned this before, but I mean, I liked the Game Boy. I played on it, and I had a PSP and Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS and all that, but I mean, console gaming was always kind of where it's at. And so when this came to market, you had a 4x3-inch screen, so you could play those console games like PlayStation 1 in this portable form factor, because portability as an adult with a busy life really became more important and front and center. So I've really adored and fallen in love with handhelds later in life here. And so this was the genesis of that. It wasn't perfect, no touchscreen, but the idea was there, and they iterated on that and gave us the Plus with the touchscreen. We got the RP3, the RP4, which I didn't keep in the end, and those weren't my favorite devices at all. I just didn't find them comfortable in the end, and I didn't end up using them long term. And so, nope, but what I did end up keeping, and I love this RP2 form factor, they made the RP2S and kind of perfected this idea finally. This is what I wanted to see originally in 2020. What was funny is by the time this came out, it was too late. We were already getting hyped for the next thing. There's already better things being done. And so this in the end wasn't the greatest for me either, just because I didn't end up using it as much as I love it and I like looking at it on my shelf. That's just the truth, you know? But the Retroid Pocket Flip was one I liked the idea of, clamshells, but I didn't keep that one either. Long story short, we are here at the 5th generation now of the Retroid Pocket, and we're going to unbox and see what we get here. This is the black model. Box is pretty no frills. You just get that RP5. Before we take this out, let's look. We get an instruction manual, branded USB-C cord. Okay. I really hope this one impresses me. I really do. I want to fall back in love with Retroid. I would like that because I have so much nostalgia for this thing. I really do. But if it's not good, it's not good. So far, I've not been overly impressed with some of the options. Now, I'm a screen snob, and so OLED is definitely my bag, and this is the AMOLED in here. Now we have an all-glass front, which makes it tough to film, so if you see some fuzzy footage here and get my lights reflecting, that's going to happen with this all-glass front, but it's sleek. It will be fingerprinty in the front, but it looks like on the back, maybe not. So yeah, the RP2 Plus, really this was my favorite Retroid of all time. Didn't even have clickable sticks back then. The only thing we really loved about it is that it had a little more performance in it, so you could do some GameCube. It had a touchscreen. And it did have quieter buttons. And so that's the first thing is that people say about this Mini. Let's get our button microphone on here. So here's the Mini retail version. Pre-production. RP2S. RP2 Plus, of course. And now, here we go, RP5. Ooh, okay. Well, they are quieter, so well, let's do another comparison. Yeah, that's thockier, right? That's quieter. That's good. And is it scraping on the shell? Let's just take a look for yourself. Okay, let's take a look at this shell. So we do have that glass front like I was saying before, but the matte plastic on the back is really nice, and I don't think we're gonna get fingerprints here. And look at this ergonomic bump out. Like, look at that. I really appreciate that, and there's a little bit of grit, a little bit of texture right there. You can kind of listen. It's not glossy at all. Nice big air intake there for that Snapdragon 865 chip, and then you have your exhaust right there. I like the gritty texture you get, just the very slight, it's very, very slight grippy texture there. L2 and R2, and then you have a clicky L1 and R1. Looks like you get start and select up at the top, select on the left, start on the right. You have a back button here, you have a home button. We get that same familiar style of D-pad that we're used to on these devices, a very soft clicky. The sticks appear to be a little bit bigger than the RP Mini, concave, Hall joysticks. Bump out is very similar here, but you do have the grit now on the shoulders where you didn't have it before. This D-pad's a little bit smaller. Joysticks appear a little bit smaller. And the buttons are a little bit different as well. Looks like they're maybe a little taller. And they did this interesting circle design here around. This kind of reminds me of the Pimax Port a little bit. So the design language of this maybe leaves a little bit to be desired, to be honest. But I do like that we get two front-firing speakers. Nice. We get a flush this time, a flush SD card slot. And we'll put in my prepared SD card that I used for my RP Mini video. We have a power button on top, volume up, volume down. Very lightweight. 272 grams compared to 221. So this is thinner than I expected. It's very, very lightweight. It feels pretty good in the hands. I appreciate the ergonomic bump out. This reminds me of a phone, you know, with a controller attached kind of idea here. This is just very, very different for Retroid. Yeah, I mean, it's like the Mini, but wider, right? So with these recessed sticks and everything, this should be pocketable. Maybe they can live up to their name, Retroid Pocket. Let's see. Okay, so fairly pocketable. Much like a phone, but you do get the bump out there. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. There's that familiar screen. Okay, we're gonna enable Google Play services. We're actually gonna skip using any of the stock emulators. I'm gonna use all customized because these are not optimized on here. And it looks like this is all the same. So we're gonna go ahead and just skip everything, do our own thing here. And we'll use our AOSP launcher. Now there is a new Retroid launcher, and there's a video on their channel that I will link below so you can take a look at what that's going to look like. So we're still on the old launcher on here. So with the pre-production model here, there's a few things to be aware of. One, battery usage while in sleep has not been fully optimized yet. Audio output on here is not properly routing to the external display while docked. Fast charging has not been fully optimized, video codecs for game streaming have not been fully optimized, and the new Retroid launcher has not been fully optimized, but caveat there, as I've discovered, it just doesn't exist on here yet at all. But let's go ahead and take a look at any possible updates. We are on 1.00.31, the latest update, and we get the usual options here. But we're not going to waste your time on showing you every little thing because this is not a review. But it is important to note that I am on standard mode right now with the fan off. Although let's test the fan. It gets fairly loud, but it feels like it's cooling down the chip nicely. Smart's going to be a better bet, and we'll use it when we need it. And we should be okay on standard, but we can go ahead and do performance to get that CPU governor up a little bit. We're at 54% battery life right now, so that's good to note. And these joysticks do light up with all that RGB goodness. Go ahead and keep those a little more tame. And what the hell, it's Halloween. We'll do some orange. As far as the screen goes, it gets dang bright. Okay, yeah, too bright for the camera. And if you're playing in bed at night, it looks like it gets very, very dim. This is a very vibrant 16:9 display, and if we want to get even crazier with brightness and with vivid, if we want to get even crazier with vivid colors, we can go into display. It looks like definitely want the dark theme on. And we're just in standard mode now, but we could bump this up for screen enhancement or intelligent environment adaptation, which is interesting. I like that screen enhancement. Look at those colors. Oh. As far as emulators today, we're going to go with Nether SX2 version 4248, Lime 3DS 2115. We're going to go with the store version of Dolphin, latest beta. Likewise with PPSSPP, we can also do the latest, Vita 3K release 12. Stay tuned again to our live stream. This is not a review video. This is just a really very quick first impressions. Also, happy Halloween, everybody. Or I guess that would have been yesterday for you now. Hope you had a good Halloween. What candy did you get? We gave out Pokemon cards. I thought that'd be fun. This just feels like a very nice premium handheld with the Snapdragon 865. So performance, you're going to see, PS2, GameCube, some Switch, Vita. You should be able to do Xbox on here, and lots of Android games. Speaking of, 'tis the spooky season. Do some Diablo. And while that's loading, let's go ahead and see if sleep works. Turns off the lights. Nice. And let's listen if there's any speaker noise. There's no speaker noise out of the right speaker, but there's actually just a little bit of speaker white noise coming out of the left speaker. I'm sorry, no. There is what I thought was speaker noise coming out of the left speaker, but it actually is the fan running at a very low volume. And yeah, just an update on ergonomics now. After holding it for about, 45 minutes now. I do like these bump outs. I feel like we could go even a little more extreme with the idea. Although you would get some bulk there if you wanted to keep it thin. And yeah, I'm actually not super stoked to get too deep in emulation on this. I really have been looking for just an awesome way to play my Android games from device to device, as well as Android is great for game streaming. And so getting my PlayStation, getting Astrobot to stream to here, Xbox Game Pass, although Xbox Local will be a better experience, and then NVIDIA GeForce Now really should be nice on here, depending on how good that Wi-Fi is. Okay, so now is a good chance to look at the colors. There's lots of blacks in the background here. I don't like that it flips so easily. I might actually lock that into place, because what other way am I going to use it unless it's like Tate mode for shmup, which I'm not going to use this for anyways. And this video and the live stream are not the final videos from me. So let me know what you want to see next. I might do an emulation showcase. I might do an Android games showcase. Well, this is fun on here. Yeah, this will be great for Android games. I can tell that. The weight is so nice that you can just take this around. I really think I might buy the case for this now. I didn't get anything with review units, and I didn't buy that. I thought, I'm okay without for my retail unit. But yeah, so far I think I might look into ordering a few accessories. So let's do a quick refresh rate test. Browser stutter detected. Close other apps. Okay. And because video codecs for streaming have not been optimized yet and aren't quite ready, I am saving that for the final review, as well as looking at that new Retroid launcher, which is not here yet. Audio output being connected to the dock. We can skip that for the moment as well. Fast charging, not something I normally show in these videos, although I need to think about that. And battery usage and sleep mode, so we definitely want to turn this off then, instead of leaving it idling. All right, speaker test. Okay. All right, so I showed you the loudest they go on quiet and mid-range. When you start to get in the mid-range and higher up in volume, the right speaker is actually crackling out pretty bad. When it hits some bassy parts in the music, it really starts to crackle and sound a little bit distorted, and that is unfortunate. I don't see that a ton in these handhelds these days, so I was a little bit surprised just now to hear that. The mid-range is strong here. The highs are a little bit lopped off. It sounded like, and there's not a ton of bass, but I do really appreciate that these are front-firing speakers. But I wonder if these are not the final speakers then, because that was not entirely impressive to me. It's going to be serviceable for gaming, but if you really want to enjoy music and enjoy game soundtracks, these unfortunately, for this unit anyways, are not ideal. Those need to be fixed. Maybe because it's so thin, it's not a lot of body to echo in, but yeah. Now we're at a 2x resolution for PSP, so we can bump that straight up to a 4x, and we can even overshoot for a 5x. Might as well, just to get really sharp pixels. And we can test out fighting games a bit here. So when you're using dual sticks on here, it's going to look like this. And that is much more comfortable than the Mini when using the dual sticks. Let's play a GameCube game. Now, I'm not going to be testing shaders in this video, but I will leave a video in the description. Chris from the Retroid server showed shaders on the RP Mini versus the RP5, and it's a really nice short, and so check that out to see the difference, and stay tuned for our video review for that. So yeah, I mean, this is not going to hit the same performance that you're going to get out of something like the AYN Odin 2 Portal. That's going to be giving you the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which will push much higher than this. But this will be able to do some switch. We're not going to do it here. Stay tuned. Let's see where we're at with the heat. Get a baseline, 25 Celsius, 4 on the screen. So the fan works well and it cools it right down. Battery check, now we're at 38% as we're ending the video. Been using it for, I don't know, about 2 hours now. That's what we like to see. Free floating joysticks. Full coverage. If you're interested in this, it is available to order in our description. So far coming away with this, very early impressions. Again, I do enjoy it. I think it's a little bit of a dull colorway here, honestly. This is kind of feels like an uninspired design, but I love this screen on here. I love the buttons. I've always been a function over form type of guy, and so I'm okay with what I might say uglier device if you get all the function you're looking for. And so here we have that. I have face buttons that feel great. The D-pad feels nice. The joysticks work well. The shoulders, while a little bit loud for my liking, function as expected. And you get those analog triggers. I like the bump out. The ergonomics are going to be really nice, how lightweight it is, combined with the nice grippy back right there. That feels good. Front-firing speakers are nice to see. Unfortunately, I do cover them sometimes, and even worse than that, though, they just don't sound very good right now on this pre-production unit. So I need to try it on the final. I like the flush cover. I like that there's a 3.5 headphone out option and USB-C on the bottom, compatible with that dock. Check out those accessories. But other options you could consider right now are going to be something like the Adreno Pocket Micro. This is much less powered though, a G99, a little less expensive. But if you want to focus on really high-end Game Boy Advance, this is going to be the one. There was the shader kerfuffle, of course, on the Mini, and so we want to check more on that and make sure that we're all good here. But that should be fixed via a software update soon. People are asking, why didn't we find the shader issue? Well, I know for me personally, I don't use shaders anymore. I'm used to those big chunky pixels playing all those indie games that have gotten popular in the mainstream now. I'm used to chunky pixels. Might as well save a little performance overhead while I'm at it, and I haven't been using them in my videos for, I don't know, a couple of years now anyways. But yeah, this is interesting. What you have basically here is a phone from 2020, the Samsung S20 level of performance with just the best designed controls. They're really nice. I can't understate just how good the controls feel on here. I'm excited for just playing Android games in here, and then when Linux is ready, then use it for some of that retro emulation. But I really do think this will be a streaming and Android game handheld for me in the end. I can just feel that's what it is going to be well purposed for, and I can play out in the go. My other thing that is driving me just a little OCD crazy is it does get a bit warm back here. Nothing too bad. Using the fan definitely helps. And we're not getting fingerprints. Hardly anything shows up back there. I love that. The all-glass front panel is fine. That's just a design preference, I suppose. I'm okay with it, except for it makes it kind of tough to film. But it's okay. I don't really notice my fingerprints getting too much on the glass panel. And carry a microfiber cloth with you if you have one of these, because, yeah, it's good just to keep it clean. Concave sticks are nice. Battery seems up to the task here so far. Performance, I feel like there's more to eke out of the performance here. This is pushing more pixels, and so it makes sense that we're seeing maybe a little bit less performance compared to the RP Mini at its max resolution. But I still would like to see what we can do to optimize performance. So Rob and I are going to see in the live stream how we can do that. But yeah, those are my thoughts so far on the Retroid Pocket 5. Let me know in the comments below. Is this one that you're interested in? Do you want to see more? You probably want to see a much more in-depth video, which we have those on the way. And at the price point, coming in at $219, I mean, you're looking at something like the Pocket S, which comes in at, $300+. This, I feel like, is value here for the money. The RP Mini even more so at $200. I mean, yeah, these are a nice pairing, and you can actually bundle them together if you're interested and you want to try them both out. Currently for $389, and there is a discount code RP5 Save 10 you can check out, which takes $10 off during the pre-order period. Shipping for this does start on November 14th. So remember that there was that delay for them to figure out the software here, which is still not fully baked, but it gets the job done. Well, everybody, until the next time, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks to our channel members, patrons, and subs for making everything here for us possible. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in our Discord to chat and play games. And join Rob and I tomorrow on our live stream where we're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff on the RP5 and so much more. Until then, this has been Stubbs with Retro Handhelds. Take care of those handhelds, everybody, and each other.